We wanted to start off the show by telling you about a special festival that's celebrating African American stories through cinema. Here to tell us more about the Oak Park Black Film Festival is St. Hope CEO Cassandra Jennings. Welcome, Cassandra.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Great to be here.
yeah, I'm excited to talk to you about this. So tell us, why is bringing a Black Film Festival to Sacramento, let alone Oak Park, so important?
Right. Well, we're so excited to be bringing the inaugural Oak Park Black Film Festival to Sacramento. It's important because it's going to bring Black history alive through the cinema. And just recently, a few weeks ago, this same kind of festival was in the historic Martha's Vineyard, where they brought in featured filmmakers, features, documentaries, short films that really just helped to exhibit the great work of Black filmmakers.
Yeah.
So in the historic Martha's Vineyard, then you transfer that to the historic Guild Theater right here in the heart of 40 acres in the Oak Park community, and it all makes sense because really at the Guild, it is owned and operated by St. Hope, and our vision and hope is that we bring arts and culture to our larger community, really embodying the Black experience. So it's just so appropriate that we now have the opportunity to bring such a thing right here in the heart of historic the Guild Theater.
Yeah, and some of these films focus on deep-seated racial issues. At this moment in time, where are these stories about struggles and triumphs so important?
Well, it's important once, first of all, because of who's telling the stories. And so now we have Black filmmakers that are really telling it from their perspective. Oftentimes we get history told from other perspectives. So now we have the Black filmmakers telling the story. It's also important because, you know, in TV and in the cinema, there's an underrepresentation of Black filmmakers. So now we have the opportunity for our local to connect with near and far filmmakers to really engage in that movement and that connectivity to really understand and bring exposure to them. Also, I think for our community, it really sort of bridges the divide because we do better when we know better. And if we can expose our community to the rich history and culture in a very dynamic way, then our community is better. So for all those reasons and a lot more, it's really important to bring it right here to Sacramento.
Yeah, and having our stories told by us, I think, is always important. And for that representation to be there is always needed so that people can see that. And tell me about some of the films featured.
Well, I'm excited. We're going to kick it off on Wednesday with Ann Gregory's story, a golfer who joined the USGA and then ran into opposition. So I'm all the golf lovers and sports and women, you know, that's important. Another one that I'm excited about is Punch 9. Harold Washington, and he was the mayor of Chicago when I was studying it way back in college days.
Wow.
He wasn't the mayor then, but when I was studying, you know, there was a whole machine in Chicago.
Yeah.
So for him to win that election unexpectedly and then met with opposition as soon as he got there, this tells the story. So all of those who engage in advocacy and political dynamics, this would be great to know. That one's Friday. And then one of my favorites, because she's a favorite person of mine, is Mahalia Jackson. Now, we all think we know the story of Mahalia Jackson, and I'm sure we do. But let's come out. I'm sure this film maker is going to show it in his own way, and maybe we'll learn something new or see a different perspective. And so that one's going to be on Sunday. There's also something about Martha's Garvey, and there's something for everybody that's really going to challenge our thinking, enlighten us, and hopefully give us something that we can go forward with.
I like that. And you mentioned this is the inaugural, so we're going to expect more to come, correct?
Absolutely.
All right. And what are some of the things that you hope the community gets out of this festival when they go, when they attend for the first time here?
Well, when I think about theater, I hope they get perspective.
Yeah.
I hope they get insight. I think they'll be challenged a little bit, and that's good, so they can ask questions. I hope they're listening and become better respecters of other people's lives and their perspectives. So then we then have a more equitable community if we all just listen to each other and learn. And then I think what's probably most important is the connectivity.
Yeah.
We'll be able to connect these filmmakers to our community. You know, it's not like they've made it big yet.
Right.
And the way they can is that we engage with them,
Yeah.
and that other artists engage with them. And I think it's a movement of really how we can really highlight and lift up the art community.
Yeah, and giving that exposure. And I think it's important, like you mentioned, watching these films that allows us to see different perspectives and to have those conversations. Cassandra, thank you so much for joining us this morning and telling us about the film festival.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Of course. And tickets can be purchased at sainthope.org.